Imagine stepping outside tonight, and instead of seeing our familiar moon, a pale orb that has watched over humanity since our beginnings, you're greeted by something far more breathtaking, a massive ringed planet dominating the sky. Saturn, with its shimmering rings and pastel bands of clouds, hangs in place where the moon once orbited. Suddenly, Earth has a jewel in the sky, colossal and stunning, but also unpredictable, dangerous and world-changing in ways even the ancients never imagined. Saturn isn't just bigger than the moon. It's hundreds of times more massive and about 9 times the diameter of Earth. If it somehow replaced the moon at the same distance, roughly 84,000 kilometers, its rings alone would stretch across the entire sky, casting sweeping shadows that shift with early morning and twilight, painting strange, moving sculptures of light. From some angles, the rings would glow like auroras. From others, they'd appear as dark streaks shredding the stars behind them. Cities bathed in this twilight glow would adapt in months. Globally, cultures would reinterpret myths, calendars, religions. Any story tied to the moon would be rewritten under Saturn's rings. But beauty would mask chaos. Saturn's immense mass at such a close orbit would wrench Earth's tides beyond anything we've ever seen. Instead of the moon's rhythmic pull, oceans would surge and flood continuously, creating massive tidal raps around continents. Coastal megacities could be drowned every day, ports would sink, beaches vanish, and because Saturn's gravity is uneven, some areas, especially equatorial regions, would experience persistent tidal bulges, reshaping coastlines in endless cycles. The equator might become a permanent sea zone, while hurricanes ride gravity-driven megawaves across continents. Inland rivers and lakes wouldn't escape. The gravitational distortion would alter groundwater levels and subterranean water flow. Lands once stable would liquefy or slump under shifting pressure. Cities built on deltas or floodplains would see their foundations twist and buckle. Dams, bridges, and pipelines calibrated for predictable tides would fail. Transport modes would collapse overnight. On top of that, Saturn's rings made of ice, rock, and dust would gradually shed debris toward Earth. Micrometeorites and fragments of ring ice would streak through the upper atmosphere, creating spectacular meteor showers by day. Some fragments, large enough, would survive descent and strike Earth with force. While most burn up, mid-sized particles could cause damage akin to small meteorites or thunderbolts, pockmarking rooftops, farms, and forests around the globe. Geophysically, Earth's rotation would shift. The gravitational torque from Saturn at this proximity would slowly alter our spin axis. Over time, day length could become longer, seasons shift, and the tilt of the planet would wobble unpredictably. The continent-scale weather patterns, monsoons, jet streams, trade winds, would break and reorganize. Regions that once enjoyed steady climates would face extremes, deserts turning to swamps, temperate zones becoming arid wastelands, snowbelt mountains melting or freezing solid unpredictably. And then there's the atmosphere. Saturn's magnetosphere doesn't envelop Earth directly, but charged particles and cosmic radiation trapped in its ring arcs might interact with our magnetic field. This could generate new types of auroras, shimmering high in the sky below Saturn's rings, and occasionally electrical storms powered by charged ring shadows. Satellite orbits would be disrupted. Communications, GPS, weather observation, most modern systems would experience massive interference or outright failure. Life would respond in unexpected ways. Nocturnal creatures, moths, owl species, migrating bats, rely on lunar light cycles. Now they'd adjust to Saturn's constant presence. Evening skies would be so bright that darkness becomes rare. Seasonal behaviors, breeding patterns, flowering cycles, all lunar synced processes would scramble. Ecosystems dependent on predictable light and tidal cycles could collapse, while new adaptive niches emerge around perpetual ring light. People would adapt wearing shaded eyewear for daylight-like nights. Artists and poets would speak in Saturnian metaphors. Religions would reform around Saturn as celestial protector or tormentor. Calendars and timekeeping would shift from lunar months to ring seasons modulated by Saturn's visible arc thickness and hue. Economically, global infrastructure faces collapse. Ports choose retreat zones inland. Coastal farming fails. Insurance fails. City planners abandon coastal skyscrapers. Humanity retreats higher into hills, plateaus, elevated terraces. Agricultural innovation shifts toward floating farms or hydroponics far inland. Tidal energy companies boom, except turbines overloaded by constant, unpredictable tides. Desalination plants become critical as salinity fluctuates violently. Still, there would be marvels. Imagine skyships suspended between Saturn's arcs, tethered balloons drifting among ring shadows, stars, observatories perched on mountain summits capturing the ring's full phase. Think a northern lights show lasting every night, across every continent. Educational science and curiosity thrive. Pan-sky telescopes calibrated to study the rings, their structure, evolution, even harvesting ring material using orbital skimmers become ambitious projects of global collaboration. But amidst that newfound wonder, the planet wrestles survival. Humanity would need to learn fast how to forecast tidal cycles shifted by Saturn's gravity, map safe inland zones, engineer floating cities, and adapt agriculture to erratic moisture and gravity loads. International coordination becomes imperative. Coastal migration sweeps inland. Rural-urban demographics shift radically. Desalination, renewable energy, and high-altitude farming become lifelines. On a personal level, imagine waking to the glowing outline of Saturn. Every time you peek outside, your concept of the night sky transforms from scattered stars and a small moon to shifting rings and storms rotating around a gas giant above. Astronomical timekeeping, once based on lunar months, retools around Saturn's visible phases, arc thickness, color bands, ring shadow length. People celebrate ring festivals instead of full moons. Convergence dates when the rings align edge-on and almost disappear. These rare moments become astronomical holidays, days of near darkness globally. Yet, trapped in this orbit, Earth is on borrowed time. Saturn, so close, would not be stable indefinitely. Tidal drag, gravitational friction, and orbital decay would gradually shift Saturn inward or outward, depending on dynamics, leading to eventual collision or ejection. Over centuries or millennia, our majestic ringed constant might crash into Earth, break apart into a second ring, or flee the system, leaving Earth bereft. That timeline hangs over every generation, a fading bookmark of cosmic fortune or doom. If Saturn replaced the moon, life as we know it would transform under the gaze of rings that redefine what a sky can hold. Civilization would rebuild along inland heights, science would flourish in adaptation, myths would shift to ring arcs, and humanity would redraw its place in the cosmos. But no amount of wonder would hide the truth. A world without a moon, but framed by Saturn, is beautiful, chaotic, fragile, and yes, because in that vision, what seems magical is also unsustainable, and what captivates the eye could eventually leave us longing for the simple pale glow of a small moon once again.